Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, we could really use your help. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, recently named the Two Opinionated podcast one of its top 100 podcasts. This is a monumental feat for this program. We're a father and son team out of a small town in West Virginia, have been doing this for about 5 years. There's 15 million podcasts out there. About 40,000 of those get to the point that they're listed on IMDb. Out of those 40,000 out of the 15 million, we were ranked number 82. Something that we're just immensely proud of. We're so thankful for our listeners, our watchers, our fans. Thank you so, so much. If you would like to help us out, and we're asking for it, please. It's easy. It's really easy. It's free. If you go to IMDb, that's imdb.com, look up Two Opinionated Podcast, and just take a look at the page. That's all you have to do. I mean, you're welcome to look at the cast, look at the episodes so you can kind of see who's been on the program. Do whatever you want. But even just bringing up the page, imdb.com, Two Opinionated Podcast, bring up the page, look at it. That helps us so much. So please, if you can do anything, we would really appreciate that. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Love to have your subscription there. It's also free. And you can also check out our website, meistercon.com, where you'll find almost 700 episodes, audio and video, available on there. There's also a terrific blog from Brett, and it'll let you know anything that we have going on in studio, if we're covering a convention, if we're going on location, anything that we have going on will be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so, so much. We appreciate you so much. I can't express enough how appreciative we are of all of you. We never expected to do as well as we have, and that's all because of you. Thank you so much. Enjoy that interview. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Two Opinionated. So excited today. I've got actress Claudia Ferri with me. So welcome, Claudia.
Welcome, Michael. Really happy to join in.
You've been so patient. We had a little bit of internet trouble, so we were late starting. And then I was like just chatting your ear off, and we hadn't even hit record yet.
It was easy. You make it really easy.
I appreciate that. I'm such a fan of yours. I think this will tell you how long I've been watching you. I remember the episode of MacGyver that you were probably 1990, somewhere in that area.
That was 1989.
Okay, 89.
1989.
Now, I remember that
my very first American series, but
yeah,
shot in.
I assumed it probably was. I graduated high school in 88, so I would have been starting college in 89. And MacGyver, that was like must watch TV back then.
I was working in at the time before I moved to Vancouver. I moved to Vancouver for employability reasons. In Quebec, I was too Latina looking, so I thought, well, where can I work? And strangely enough, my first gig was a French Swiss. So anyway, with MacGyver.
Funny.
But I was working in an editing suite where I learned so much about everything that's post-production. And I was, in spare times, you'd have MacGyver that played almost on a loop at this station. So when I found out that I was going to be, working with Richard Dean Anderson, I was really excited. It was really cool.
Are you handy? Like if you had a couple of random items, could you build something or save yourself?
Oh, I'm incredible. Okay, so my name is Ferri, right? Ferri. And my cousins in New Jersey, I didn't know that it was actually something that seems to be genetic, but we seem to ferrify things.
Oh, I like that.
I'm totally handy. I can, with food or cooking or with things, I've rearranged this whole place before I was married, before I married my husband. Now he says, oh my gosh, this whole place is completely changed and so functional. And it was easy. It's just tweaking here, tweaking there, and I love my
I'm
favorite
very
thing is
jealous of that because I'm like the opposite of that.
ponder. I love to ponder and see
Yeah.
how can I make that work. It's called verifying.
Well,
For
me, I would be unverifying, I guess.
no, well, it depends. It
Because
depends if it's if
that's the opposite of me.
it
Thank
runs in your
goodness my
blood.
wife handles that stuff because I couldn't do it.
So what's her last name?
So her maiden name's Flores.
So she's fluorescide fluoresciding things. I don't know. I'm verifying. How would you? I don't know.
I don't know. I have to work on that.
That just anyway. Yeah, really handy actually. It was fun, and I got to pass the knife. I got to go, here you go, MacGyver, because I was French, you know.
Love that. I mean, that's one of those that it's just cool to say you were on the show.
Yeah. And
You know, because it's kind of an iconic show.
it was.
Yeah.
It was. I loved it.
So
And
let's I got us off track a little bit, but let's start this way, Claudia. Tell me a little bit about what got you into acting. You know, it's a tough profession. You know, what made you want to go into the entertainment business?
It was okay, long story short, because it's I basically, as a kid, I saw a show of the Oscars.
Okay.
And I had a huge aha moment. A lightning bolt struck me, went through my whole being, my core, and I thought, aha, that's what I want to do. And the reasons were because you are seen.
Yes.
And I was a little bit shuffled as a kid. But
were you a middle child?
actually I was, and even worse than that, I'm half of two.
Oh yeah.
I'm a twin.
Yeah. See, you had that kind of middle
But I love my
child
twin.
vibe a little bit. I kind of picked it because I'm the oldest child.
Do you have kids?
I'm the oldest, but we've got four. So I know all about that middle child syndrome.
I have three. Yeah. Yeah, I was. So there was that. And there was the fact that I was very curious of the human psyche. At the time, I didn't know it was psyche, but the human personalities.
Mm-hmm.
And also that actors could become someone else at you know, repetitively.
Right.
And
Yeah, you can
that
be
to me
anybody,
was,
basically.
yeah. And the more you dive into your craft, the more you can morph in a way, and the more convincing you are. Anyway, the more you do your work, I guess. But that's it. The Oscars got me. I go.
I kind of love that. I don't think anybody's ever told me that they got into acting because of the Oscars, especially, you know, as a kid. Oscars maybe not the most exciting program to watch.
Oh, well, I spent a lot of time, you know, by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, I guess everybody else was, maybe they were watching in another room, but I was happy, you know, just by myself. And I was watching this, and it was just, for me, it was fantastic. It was like, it was even better than fiction.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it obviously inspired you.
Well, yeah, and the fact that the truly anybody, I guess other people might have said that, I don't know if anybody said to you, because they wanted to exist, because they wanted to be seen, they wanted to be validated as.
You know, the last interview I did was with an actor, and that's exactly what he said. He's like, I wanted to be heard. You know, I wanted to be seen.
There you go.
That,
So
yeah.
that's it. And then you have all this that comes with it, and the thing.
Well,
and Oscar himself.
yeah, there's some good stuff. There's some negatives to it too. You know, even if you have a terrific performance, if the show or the movie doesn't perform well, that can be difficult at times.
Well, yeah, but there's more. There's always more.
Right.
There's always
There's
more
always more
coming. So yeah.
We have loved you in Palm Royale. That's
Thank you.
that is a terrific show.
This was in a way so unexpected.
Yeah.
And you know, I really just landed right smack in the middle of in the heart of my Hollywood dreams. I like the crew, the all the artistic direction, but the showrunner, the directors, you're working with Tate Taylor, and Abe Sylvia, and we had such a great all around costumes, hair. Marie Del
Oh, the
Prete did
costumes are
makeup.
amazing in this show.
Alex Friedberg, just amazing. She's a queen. Uh, she had, I think she had like pretty much the say on everything on the look, but I think she was very thorough because I would see them, consult, and they take in account the decor, they take in account everything.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just that looking after the measurements, it was looking after the piece as a whole.
Right.
It was just awe-inspiring.
This is one of my favorite newer shows, and I tell
Isn't
people all the
Kristen Wiig
time,
amazing?
"Oh, it's so good." I'm like,
She's
"Yeah, it's so good." I like the acting is incredible.
she brings acting to a new level.
She
I
really
love
does. I just she's so good, and the other characters are as well. It's well
well, it's
written.
just
It's just like every episode's almost like watching a movie. It's so good.
yeah. I laugh because I sound like I'm eternally gawking, I'm just so in awe of everyone. But then the brochette of people that are involved with the project, I started reading so I knew it was Apple TV, and then Abe
I don't
Sylvia.
think Apple makes a bad show. It's like if it's on
No,
Apple, you know it's going to be good. Every show I've watched on there.
oh, they go full on.
Yeah.
Go full on. I think it's really awesome because it's not going to be. So I've gotten upset just a few times in my whole career, and the times that I've gotten upset was because of botching. If
Yeah.
somebody botches it sabotages because of negligence or because
Right.
of
That would
cockiness,
make me mad.
ill placed. But Apple TV, everybody, there's not one person. Ricky Martin has how many millions of followers? He's
Yeah.
all over the world. He is the embodiment of humility, kindness, gentle, and super professional. Delivers day in, day out. He's there. He listens.
Yeah.
He's yeah.
Amazing.
It's like
He's actually a really talented actor. He's
he is.
obviously a talented guy, but he's
So
a good
I'm
actor.
gonna have to tell him here on your show, because I praised everyone on my Instagram, but I have to say I was so moved by his performance episode, like throughout the series.
Yeah.
You notice that you see a soul, you feel
Yeah.
the troubles that he has, but the Palm for me is episode 10. He's just so radiant with empathy, kindness, the friendship bond that he does with Kristen, with Maxine. He is so moving, so touching, that love you, Ricky. There.
That was nice.
So yeah, because I said that to my husband after the show. I said, oh my gosh, oh my God. Yes, he said, you should tell him. But I never got around to it
Yeah.
because I had so many other people, and
You're gonna see it now.
I'd nudged. Yeah, I just did.
That's amazing. Amazing. Well, and Carol Burnett made an appearance.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Okay. Yes, that's a major pinch me. Like it's the legend, the icon of legends. And so kind. One day I'm just walking by, and we're on the Paramount lot, and we're just the trailers are all lined up, like there's a
Yeah.
series of them. And so I have to go in between a row of trailers to go around and go to my trailer. And just as I'm about to pass her trailer, she exits, and she turns and looks at me, and she says, "Oh, hi." I was actually taken aback, and I go, "Hi." Oh, she's so kind and so generous again. When we shot the episode, I think it was episode 6, um, I got a chance to be in closer proximity. And not that she is distant at all, but she's busy, she's got her thing, and
That's right.
I'm not going to go and just going to her
Right. You don't
bubble.
want to bother her.
So, but there she was right there. I couldn't help it. And that's why I have these great 2 pictures that I posted on Instagram with her. And I just asked her if I could. And she was so generous, you know. So they're definitely role models.
Yeah.
This woman also was a woman that that's what I told her when we did the read, the very first table read. I thought it was going to be a table read where it's a round table with actors. And no, no, no.
It
It
wasn't?
table read.
Oh, like a long table.
Long table, and we had 3 rows of chairs and all the
Wow.
producers in front of us. But she was there, so kind, so again, so humble. And I had the chance to tell her there, I said, thank you so much. You really gave me so much as a child because you made me laugh and
Yeah.
I needed it.
You know, and that show holds up.
Oh
Like you
yeah.
can watch
Oh
Carol
yeah, it's a
Burnett now.
classic.
It's still funny.
It's
Still
a
hilarious.
classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you for actually, because most of us when we run into those situations, we clam up. You know, we kind of chicken out and don't get to say what we
No,
actually want
no,
to
no,
say.
I did. I said, but it took courage. It was like my inner person and behind me had to push me in the back and say, come on, ask her. And because you don't want to, you know,
Well, you'd
to,
have that regret forever.
no, now I don't. No, and she's wonderful. She's always so kind. She saw me like when we were at the premiere, for some reason I got stuck in a crowd of people as they were doing the picture and I didn't want to go, but she was there and I just saw her. I went like this and she looked up and she gave me a big smile. It's like she's there. She's so present and kind. And it's the
Yeah, she's
quality that I
still very
found.
sharp. I've watched her do interviews and she's still very sharp on top.
She's a master class in motion. You watch her play on Palm Royale and I learn the minutia in her acting, just in the face. It's just like, and I don't know if it's if she rubbed off on Ricky, but Ricky has this quality as well. He speaks with like they have a lot of
Really?
scenes together. He has so much that goes on just in his face.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to do anything. He just it all through the eyes. And I remember in acting school, it's like our teachers would almost hit us with the eyes. It's all in the eyes, you know, and they do it so well. Carol, there's a few, apart from the famous Tarzan, aha, you know, that I think
Of
she
course.
didn't know she did it, but it sounded like that. But when you watch her on Palme Royale, she has just minute little things that are going on, but she's so connected to the character that she just has to let herself
Amazing.
go. And yeah, there's no overacting there. It's all in minutia and it's super sharp. You see it, it's effective.
One of the
I love it.
reasons I love your acting so much is it doesn't seem like acting. Like it just seems like you're that person, which I love, you know, because it doesn't always seem that way, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's we all of us suspend belief a little bit when we're watching something, but there's certain people that they do such a good job that it wouldn't surprise you to run into that person as a character, you know, just run into it. And I think you're that
Yeah,
type of actor. I always just
it's so
think,
kind.
yeah, yeah,
I
that's just
that's
you.
very that's very kind. I like to be able to just morph into the characters and let them take the whole place, discover them as much as possible, and give them as much room as possible. They just use the body and the essence and let them come to life. But it was a little bit scary with Raquel because she's not very nice right now. You know,
I know she's a little rough, but
we
that's
don't.
probably fun to play.
Yes, it is. It is. And at the same time, if you've met people like that, I think the hardest section that I had to play in this was the part where I say to her that I don't want to punch or sell any punches, but I basically will tell Maxine that something of hers is going to be mine, you know? And that to me was really
Yeah.
hard because I had somebody close to me that was just like that could look
Oh,
at you straight, no, not even a blink and say, oh, you lost your whatever, you just lost your car, it's mine now. or things
Yeah.
like that. And it's like you
It's
meet
tough.
people like that, and you go, oh my gosh, this is like, and the problem is that I had modeled part of my Raquel to that person. And then that was, for me, was a lesson. It's like, okay, no more. Raquel has to become her own.
Well, I was going to say, have you run into that person since then?
No, no, I haven't. And it's okay. It's all good. We're everybody's at peace. But I think that my daughter was working with me on the project, and she was, sitting down and we were brainstorming about how are we going to take a character, because there was not all that much information.
Right.
So whatever information is there, I had to just go all around it and see what I could get, and if you're prepared, then when you're on set, things happen because
Right.
you
Yeah, because
mind
you're
it.
ready.
Yeah. And so I didn't know where she would go. So I decided to go from that person to another person that I know. And so we'll see, because I don't know where she's going to go, right?
Yeah.
It's all in the writing. So
That's the fun
it's
part, though.
exciting. Huh?
That's the fun part.
It
But you're getting
is.
to find out what she's getting into
It's
not too
this.
much longer than or farther ahead than we do.
Absolutely. It's like this. You go, like, you're going to get your new script, and either you print it or you go on, and it's like, okay, what am I getting? I love it.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's a shame that some people are not watching it because they don't get Apple. I tell them all the time, I'm like, you need to invest a little bit in Apple because
So,
all their
so
stuff.
what, so what you tell them is that, I don't know if I'm mistaken, but I think Apple had a promotion of 3 months free.
They do. It's going on right now.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a great. Yeah, because they could binge the whole season.
Yeah, they could. They could. And more, because there's so many shows there that you can.
Yeah, I'm big Apple fan. Of course, we loved you on The Killing. The
Whoa, the
Killing,
killing.
still one of my favorite shows. I absolutely love that. And we
Oh,
my wife and I
the
found it
killing.
by accident, when we were watching it and just got obsessed, right at the beginning. And you were terrific on there.
Thank you. The
Nicole,
killing
was
was
that the character, Nicole?
Nicole Jackson. Yeah, it was interesting. Another great actress to play with, Mireille Enos, was such a kind. She speaks great French.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you
and
two have conversations in French?
yeah, we did a little
Okay.
bit, but I'm really keen on just perfecting other languages, and so yeah, but I'd rather, if I'm here working in
Yeah,
English.
that makes sense.
Interesting is that because it was somebody on the reservation, yeah, the language is a little bit different. The way you speak, it's not just
Oh, it's kind of
there's
like a regional dialect or something, a little
not
different.
dialect, but it's the way that they speak. It's a bit different, and it's very subtle. So I'd have to dive into it. I couldn't do it right now, but I don't know if you saw. Did you see Queen of the South?
I did love Queen of the South.
So she's not nice.
No.
La Capitana. La Capitana was, so the description of the character was bloodback. No, she's a broadback bloodhound.
Okay.
Broadback bloodhound.
It doesn't sound like somebody you want to mess with.
So what I did is I managed to try and give myself a back. So I went with like a tank that just had, and I held myself like this
Yeah, kind of bowed
constantly.
up a little
So
bit.
when I talk to her, if you notice, I'm always like this, like literally
You're
brought
right.
back. So yeah, she's scared. That was super physical work. I loved it.
Well,
I
do you tend to do, your own type of, not really stunts, but the physical work, or do you have somebody?
Yeah, I did a lot of it. It's just I do as much as possible. I did learn to say, okay, let either the stunt or the double go in and do it. In that same show, there was a bit where just before she smashes my head with a 2x4, I said, well, maybe I don't need to be the one who gets smashed.
That's
So
right. You got to
the
roll with
person
that
went,
punch.
and it was all muddy, and the person had been there all day waiting, doing, just waiting to. So I said, "Do you want to do
Smack
it?"
you.
So she went. Yeah, we were in Colombia
Oh,
in the
really?
yeah. There was this huge stick bug.
Oh, yeah.
Those
Yeah,
stick
those are
bugs.
weird looking.
They're weird looking, but they're so inoffensive. They're
Yeah, yeah,
not.
they're harmless.
They're super kind.
Yeah.
So I have a picture with the bug.
Before I was a podcaster, I ran call centers. So I worked. My wife and I met when I was working at Ticketmaster, before Live Nation bought them out, and I worked with DirecTV for a while. Well, at DirecTV at that time, their first foray into their own programming was a show called Rogue, which
Yeah.
you were on, Sophia, and they
Yeah,
showed.
Hernandez.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So we had, banks of TVs. Of course, there are probably 100 of them there, and they showed Rogue nonstop with that. So most of that I watched while I was working because it was on all the time. But I absolutely loved your character on there.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I actually shadowed a couple of, it was shot in Vancouver, and I shadowed, Ottawa Porteous was in charge of surveillance for the Vancouver police.
Yeah.
And Sita, her wife, was in charge of sex crimes. And so I went in, I just walked into the station and I said, "Is it possible to speak to somebody who's the equivalent of a lieutenant in Oakland PD?" So I didn't know who would, so they said, "Just a moment." So I sat, close to the entry, but in the reception of the police station, and the phone rang next to
Okay.
where I was sitting. "Hello?" the voice said. And I said, "Hello, how can I help you?" And Ottawa Porteous and Ottawa and Sita have become great friends. I shadowed them. They took me in. I took rounds with them. Anyway, so basically, I was much more familiar. They took me to all the different sections of the police stations, crimes, and all that. And to be able to see real life investigators,
Yeah.
what do they look like? It's and surprisingly, they're well dressed and they're beautiful.
Yeah.
So there was this beautiful Indian girl who's a
That is kind
detective.
of surprising. You kind of think more like
You think
hard
maybe
boiled,
yeah, no,
tough.
class, beautiful woman. And I thought, okay, I don't want to mess with her. So they call me H for Hernandez.
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
it was a
always
great.
loved that character. I've rewatched that show since then. Still good. It holds up.
Yeah. I just did one season with them. I think one day the one of the producers, I don't think he stayed on, but the first year he was there, I think for some reason they went around and they asked us to say something or to imitate the person. And the only thing this producer would say is, "Make her like a man, make her like a man." So I said that on the film. Maybe he didn't like it. I don't know. I didn't
That's
get back
funny.
there. Well, it's okay. I went
Well,
on to,
I had a period of time where I'm a reader, so I tend to read a lot. Where I was really into Dan Brown, right? So the Da Vinci Code, those, and so I got into those type of books. Well, one of the first books that I found outside of Dan Brown was The Last Templar, and you got to do the adaptation with that.
yeah.
With that,
Oh,
yeah, love that, love the book, love the movie.
so I got to work with Mira Sorvino,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but I got to work with her father on 3 occasions.
Did you really?
And I also sculpted his bust. We were talking a bit before the show.
Oh, so you did. Do
Sculpted.
you still have it or did you give it to him?
But it's on my Instagram. You'll be able to see it.
I need to go look that one up.
So basically what happened is that I'm veering off, but we're talking about last
Yeah,
time.
that's okay. This is a good story.
That was fun. It was great. And there was also Victor Garber
Oh,
was
yeah.
part of this show.
Love Victor.
Great actor. Love this actor. and Mira Sorvino. And it was interesting because I'd worked with her father on a couple of occasions. Maybe once. I worked twice after.
Yeah.
Once here in LA, and another time we worked on the Bad Blood show, which got huge
Oh yeah.
praise.
Yeah. Bad Blood, good show. Yeah.
Yeah. So
You've been on a lot of really good series. A lot of
yeah, I think a good star, good star. Good star. So the bust of Paul Sorvino I did because when I did Mambo Italiano, um, I took my courage and I asked him if he would petition me, be my petitioner for my work visa in the States.
Really?
I knew when I was a child that I would be living in Hollywood and working in Hollywood, that my life would be there.
That doesn't surprise me. I believe that.
Yeah. So I started learning English when I was like much later, but really I had cousins in the Eastern States, blah, blah, blah. But long story short, I asked Paul and he said, yeah, no problem. So his company petitioned me, and it didn't get me my green card, but a year before the green card expired, I phoned a lawyer and I said, what are the chances if I go in the States now that I can get a green card? My work visa is expiring in a year, and I'd love to just,
Hey, yeah.
work on my status. And since then I became American, but and he looked at he said, just a second, let me check your IMDb. So he went to IMDb, he says, oh, you got an actor award, 6 months. I said, 6 months, why? And he said, because the actor awards are very prestigious. They're the Canadian equivalent to the SAG Awards.
Right.
So it's like right away. And then the real work was for me to apply for my green card, and the green card was it, because you had to, was it for the green card yes, for the green card, you had to validate and what do you call when you quantify? You had to quantify everything that had gotten you the work visa. So
that's
which
not
festival,
easy.
how much did it sell for? Which country in the world?
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Yeah.
I love that. Did you tell Mira that when you worked with her?
Yeah. Actually, I was when Paul was still alive, we connected. That's how we really connected, is in Montreal on Mambo Italiano. He was working with green clay in the trailer, and I said, oh, you work with clay, I love clay, do you mind, and he was so generous. I said, do you mind? He was just in his short, and maybe was he in a wife, like, I don't, he was in this white
He's in the tank top.
Tank top. Whoop.
Well, that's what we all called him growing up. I get
whatever, the white top. So I said, would you be okay if I took pictures of you? I'd like to try and do the bust. So I took side, top, side, under, every angle. And I don't think he had a shirt. He was just in his shorts. It was Montreal, super hot.
Yeah, it's probably warm. Yeah.
So anyway, and the bust that you will see is bigger, and he was a big, tall man.
He's a big guy, yeah.
So it's bigger than him. It's bigger than nature.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'm pretty proud. It was a good, it was a thank you, because he basically opened the door for me to the path to my dream.
I'm so glad you told that story. That's an awesome story.
Yeah, he was kind. And so when I went to, I'd go to his place from time to time. We'd go to, his birthday. So I met Mira there a few times. They're a brilliant family.
Yeah.
The children, her, all the.
That's talented group.
Great. Yeah, brilliant. That's
awesome. Yeah, I'm so glad you told that story. How often do you get to do a bust of somebody that helped you out, and that person just happens to be very famous?
Well, it's just that and he really appreciated it, because somebody else had done a bust and it was outside on the porch. And he says, but this one's staying in. And somebody had given me a nice slab of black marble, so I was able to sit it. So I worked with clay. Then I hired somebody to do the mold and to teach me how to do the patina so that it looks like a bronze.
Oh
but
yeah,
it's
I got to show my wife the photo because I told you she's really into pottery
oh
as well.
yeah, well, it's not quite like my daughter is into pottery. She'll do like she has what I call the perfect bowl that I brought back from storage somewhere. I have storage here and there, so yeah.
That happens when you travel around working. You go
Yeah, yeah,
places
and
everywhere.
I love to work in different languages, different places,
Yeah.
different countries. So,
How do you speak anything besides French and English?
excuse me?
Do you speak any other languages besides French and English?
I speak Italian and Spanish.
Oh yeah,
Sí.
that's pretty good.
Pero es muy difícil por mí de tener una conversación en una entrevista.
Oh, yeah, no clue, but that sounded great.
Okay, so I said it's really hard for me to have a conversation and interview in Spanish because they'll speak really fast or depending on. But I love the I was going to say the idioma. I love the language. I think it's really close also to Italian. My first languages were actually French and Italian.
Yeah.
And then my parents would speak English to you know, privacy.
Yeah.
But then we were like, okay, we clued in and we're able to understand.
Yeah.
Spanish came out of necessity because in Quebec I couldn't work as a Quebecer.
Right.
I and that's why I went to Vancouver. So I started learning Spanish. I didn't even really try. There were a couple that they weren't from Mexico, they were from Barcelona, con la Zeta, and they owned a restaurant, you know, at the ground level where I was working for the government at the time in Victoria, Vancouver Island. And every morning, por el desayuno, se habla español. So it was really great. And so we made this agreement that I'd only speak Spanish to them, and the words that I had problems saying, I'd say in Italian, and they could teach me.
I like
So,
that.
and they wanted to speak Italian, so we trade off.
You traded on. I love that. Yeah, good for you. Because yeah,
Yeah,
learning one extra language not easy. Three, I just can't even imagine.
four. Oh, three extra languages. Yeah. And then I found out during COVID that I actually read lips
Really?
because
Because that's a very good talent to have.
it's not really a talent. You don't even know you're doing it. It's just I found
It's something
out.
you pick up on.
Yeah, I basically found out like 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I found out that I was born with 37% hearing missing in both ears.
Really?
Yeah. So it's
Well, and you
explains.
probably never noticed.
I
If
didn't know.
if you never had it, you wouldn't miss it.
Well, so I didn't know. So basically now I can tell you what you would hear, how, if you want to hear the way I hear without the little devices, you basically put your fingers just straight on your ears and you listen. So basically it sounds like you're inside a box filled with cotton and you're in the center. So when people turn away, so I
I get it.
always knew I was not dumb, but when more than two people started gathering and talking and making jokes, it was like huge struggle. What are they doing? What are they saying?
Yeah.
And then having these in were like a third lung. I could hear the floor. The floor scared me because there was all this cracking and all this, what is that? You know? Oh,
The closest that I can come to that feeling is I got glasses when I was in the 6th grade, and I remember putting glasses on and saying to my dad, "Hey, there's bark on that tree," because I couldn't see any of it before. It was just a blur.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's really extraordinary. I would just encourage, you know, parents, if they think that they have a child that is ignoring them or that is being willfully avoiding, it's a mistake. It's a huge mistake. Nobody knew that I was hearing impaired. And so when I found out, first of all, I cried, yeah, when I realized that all this time, all the struggle that had occurred in my childhood, a lot of it would have been explained. I spent my childhood, a lot of it, having adults coming to me because there was a consensus that I was pig-headed and that I was,
Right.
you know, being,
Being
you know, when
stubborn.
somebody ignores you. So I would have adults come like dashing in front of my face and go, Claudia. And I'd go, oh, startled, it's like, what? So that explained just so much. And so when I told my uncles, my aunts, my family, my parents passed away a long time ago, their jaw dropped.
Yeah.
One day, my Italian uncle Ciccio, who left us just recently, he said, Ma, you were always a little bit in the moon, and distracted. I said, Dio, did you know that I was born partly deaf? He said, what? What did you say? I said, Dio, it's genetic. My hearing curve is genetic. It says that I was born like this. And my mother spent her life saying, Gregorio, my father, you're deaf. So I think it came from my dad. So the strange thing is that I specialize in languages, in accents.
Yeah, that makes it even more impressive that you speak that many languages.
I don't know, maybe because I paid a lot of attention to
That's
try
probably
and
part of it.
see what. So, but when can you hear that motor? Okay.
No.
When
Zoom's really good about filtering out the outside noise.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, really good.
So when the pandemic hit,
yeah,
the masks went up.
Oh yeah, it probably gave you trouble.
I went like, I couldn't hear a thing. I panicked. It was like, oh my gosh, people are talking to me. I don't know what they're saying. So yeah. So then I said, okay, I took habit of saying, can you step back and lower your mask? When the whole craze, had died down, I would take a few steps back and say, please help me.
Yeah.
I
Well,
need
yeah,
to
and then you can kind of see what they're saying. Yeah, that's
yeah.
really interesting. Good
Yeah.
for you. Yeah, you've overcome a lot with that. That's really
Yeah. Yeah. But now all good things are just so much goodness. And my girls are grown and life has been so amazing. And again, to get back to Palm Royale, Palm Royale is just an example of just the great, great blessings that have been coming in my life. It's you
well,
don't know
and
the
well
journey will be.
deserved. Yeah, I mean, you're a terrific actress.
Thank you. Thank you. You're very kind.
I'm happy to hear that good things are coming your way because I want to see more of you in other things.
Oh, you will. You
Yeah.
will.
The other one I wanted to mention, and yeah, I think you were only in one episode, but I was a Longmire fan, and you showed up.
Ah, Longmire. Yes, we shot this in Santa Fe,
Yeah.
New Mexico. Love the people there. It was a great show to be on, and
That's a good show.
Yeah, it was a good show. I learn all the time. To me, it's really it's like OCD thing. It's like I love to learn. I remember I said to Abe Sylvia, and I felt kind of sheepish for saying this, but one day I passed and I was in awe, right? Of these people are like they work on amazing projects. They give us great projects, and now I work with them on a great project. So one day I'm just passing by, and he's like between those these little houses on the lot.
Yeah.
So I'm walking there, and I don't know how it came about, but I just said, I'm a really good student. Anyway, so
That's good.
yeah, I just love to learn. And I always think, people will say that there's so much competition. And I disagree with that. There's not competition, there's opportunities to learn.
Yeah, I love that attitude because a lot of times I can't do that. There's too many other people are doing that. Too much competition, and so we don't try.
Yeah,
that's the mistake.
Yeah,
Yeah, good for you.
I love your background.
I've told this story a few times, but I don't have very many good ideas. But this was one of them. So when Brett and I, my son, we started the podcast, we were just in a bedroom, and we didn't want the bed behind us, so we needed, a background.
Yeah.
Well, so MeisterCon was the name of our social stuff because I'm a Star Trek fan. So Wrath of Khan, Star Trek 2, Kirk yelling Khan.
Me too.
I was like, what if we just had a bunch of characters yelling "con" as our background. So there you go. I know. I was like, that's a good
You should
idea.
have your guests. You should have your guests do it.
Well, see, if I was better, because I had to have somebody do this for me. I'm not good enough at Photoshop. But if I was, that's exactly what I would do. Every time I had a guest, I'd just throw them in somewhere.
Yeah, I say, God.
That's what I said. I was like, I only need a picture of you with your mouth open, and then I'll put you in.
Or a yawn. A
A
yawn. A yawn
would work, yeah.
Yawn.
But yeah, nobody knows.
Oh, that's great.
Well, Claudia, you have to
Yeah,
come
I love
back.
that you even have Jaws there going, ah.
We got Jaws, you got Chewie in there somewhere. Yeah, over here.
Yeah, yeah. I
Oh,
loved the Hulk, when I was a kid. I don't know why.
me too.
I really liked him.
He was misunderstood.
The Hulk was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love that too. You probably grew up with the
The little,
Bill Bixby, you know, you had the comic.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just the comics. I mean, and when I loved the Hulk, it was in the comic books. Like
Yeah.
I had a cousin that had tons of them, and so we would love to go and take
I'm
a
a
few.
comic book guy. That's how I put myself through college. I owned a couple of comic book stores and spent most of my
really?
time doing conventions, and that was the biggest reason behind the podcast, because I always regretted closing those before Brett came, and now he's into that stuff. So we wanted something we could connect with, and so we did the podcast. That was,
Oh, that's great.
if I
That's
still had
great.
those comic stores, we probably never done the podcast. We'd just be working in the
Kudos.
stores. Who knows?
Yeah. That's
But
great. No, I think those. I remember those little cartoons. They were great. Those comic books.
yeah.
We'd go camping, and you could go just hide in your sleeping bag in the big tent and just
Yeah,
read the
you've come up
books.
a
It
little
was-
bit in my eyes, knowing you're a ex comic book fan. That's really good.
Say that again?
I said you've come up a little bit in my eyes, knowing that you're a comic book fan.
Aha. Yes.
Yeah, raised you up a little bit.
Yeah.
A fellow comic book fan.
Yeah. There.
No, Claudia,
Yeah,
you
I
have
think
to
I
come
think they're
back.
great.
This has been terrific. I absolutely love
We're gonna
what you're
we're gonna work
doing.
on giving you reasons to get me back.
Well, I don't need many. You can come
All right.
talk about anything. This has been terrific. So yeah, thank you
Awesome.
so much. Couple little things though before I let you go. Anything else you're working on that we can keep an eye out for?
So right now, the things that are on the table are NDA.
Mm-hmm. I know about that.
Can't do that, but for the folks on the east side of French Quebec, there's a series that I finished shooting called Cerebrum. I'm in the third and final season. That's a show that has 1.2 million viewers, so it's a great show. It's always fun.
What's your role in it?
Can I even tell you that yet?
Or what's the genre?
I-
That might be
I
better.
play so Cerebrum is the story of a psychiatrist
Oh,
who
okay.
works in conjunction with not a forensics cop, but she's definitely dealing with psychopaths.
Okay.
So I think that's all I'll say on it. Cerebrum,
Okay.
as to say, make you think.
Well, now I kind of want to watch it to see if you're one of the psychopaths.
Not allowed to tell you. They're gonna have to kill me. I don't want to die.
Oh, shoot. So, okay.
Oh,
So last thing, Claudia, before I let you go, where can we find you on social media?
So you can find me on Instagram at Claudia Ferri _tales for fairy tales and other stories, a lot of things. My company is Fairy Tales.
Yeah.
Love
that.
Yeah, my family, the other side of the family, the Pisanis, my uncle, used to poke fun at us and sing fairy tales do come true. So the fact that I'm here in Hollywood and living
It
the
came
dream,
true.
oh, it's not over. More and more every day. It's wonderful. But social media, Claudia Ferri _tales, Facebook, and that's pretty much it. I don't really do X and other ones.
X is more if you just want to see what's happening, but it's kind of angry. So The other
Yeah,
ones are a little nicer, I think.
stay away. I want to talk to me about the things that I can actually see here and now,
Right.
or that I can be helpful for.
That's right.
Yeah, I love to have an impact on the ground.
Well, you've definitely had an impact on our program, so thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be back. Have me back.
You have to. Oh, there it goes. I was going to say, where's my hearts? But they showed up.
There it is.
Yep, there they are.
Okay.
Oh, this has been great. Hold on
Thank you,
one
Raquel.
second, Claudia. Maybe Claudia Ferri. Just terrific. I love her acting. Absolutely love her as a person. Now that I've met her, I hope you enjoyed that one. And she was very patient. She had to wait around on me for a few minutes while I rebooted. So I really appreciated her doing that. If you haven't checked out Palm Royale, make sure that you do. It's on Apple. It's terrific. The cast is great. The writing is really strong, and just the cinematography, the visuals, beautiful. It's I love it. I love the one of my favorite shows right now, or me and Emily's favorite. We absolutely are having the best time watching that. Hit most of them that I wanted to with Claudia. We talked a little bit about Bad Blood, Queen of the South, Rogue, Longmire, The Killing. I didn't mention Big Time Rush. She did make an appearance on there. And shame on me. She does a lot of work with video games. Really, really good with it. Done some work with Assassin's Creed and some others. Chances are you have heard her voice on some of the games if you're a gamer and just didn't realize it. She's talented person. So hope you enjoyed that one. If you're finding us for the first time, so happy that you're here. Just thrilled to death. There's a few ways that you could support us if you're so inclined, and we'd love that. Our website's meistercon.com. You can find all of our audio and video content. We're closing in on 800 episodes, which is boggles my mind that we've been lucky enough to do that many. But you can find all those on there if we're doing anything in studio, for covering a convention, going on location. Anything we have going on will be on the website, meistercon.com. So please check us out there. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. It's free, but those subscriptions really do help us out. Helps us to get these great guests. So it's MeisterCon Pod on YouTube. Please check us out there. Last plug or mention that I'll bring up is IMDb, which is the entertainment database. Recently named us a top 100 podcast. Really proud of that. There's 15 million or so podcasts out there to make anybody's top 100 list, let alone the entertainment database. Just amazing. So blessed with that. If you go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, you can browse through every guest that we've had on the program. They're all on there. It's free, and just the traffic on our page helps us out. So we appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. Till next time. Bye, everybody. Hi, everybody. I'm once again here to ask for your support. It's been a big year for the Two Opinionated podcast. Back in February, we got to live out a dream, moderate for William Shatner here in our hometown. In May, we passed 100,000 downloads on our YouTube channel, and we followed that up in June with 50,000 downloads on the audio side. We recently posted our 600th episode, which is pretty good volume for just a father and son operation. Not too many podcasts can keep that volume up. We've been doing this now for 4.5 years, 600 plus episodes. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is a really big deal for us because we've always gotten the views, but have struggled to get people to subscribe. So that 1,000 was a big deal for us. And best of all, we were recently named one of the top podcasts on IMDb, which is the entertainment database. Those that are ahead of us, we came in at number 82. Those that are ahead of us are bigger companies like Disney, mostly Marvel, and Joe Rogan, that type of podcast. So for us, being just a small West Virginia father and son podcast, to be in the top 100 out of 15 million. That's a pretty big deal for us. So thank you for everything you've done for us so far. Got a couple little ways, though, that you can help us, and they're free and they're really easy. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, please go to YouTube. It's under MeisterCon Pod. Just hit subscribe. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, really helps us a ton. And maybe even more important, if you could go to imdb.com, look up the Two Opinionated podcast, and just look around the page. Just having that traffic on the page really helps us out. So that's a couple easy ways that you can support us, even if you're not listening or watching all of the time. And we want you to listen and watch, because I think that our guest list, I would put up against anybody, any other show, podcast, anybody out there. I think our guest list holds up. So please check us out. You probably will find somebody that you like, or maybe somebody that you didn't know you liked, but kind of discovered them on there. There's tons of that. If you're into music, we have that too. If you like books, we've got authors on there. If you're more into what goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment world, we've got producers, directors, video artists, anything you can think of that happens behind the scenes, we've had them on the show. So definitely check us out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.